Rules for thee and not for me. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am a recovering alcoholic. I'm still sober, and I'm still enjoying each and every single day. I've never met somebody who's ever regretted getting clean and sober. Let me ask you a question. You want to buy a car. You walk onto a car lot. The car salesman comes out and says, hey, this car is for you. I'm going to sell you this car only. It's a great car. You'll love the car, but it's only going to be functional 5% of the time. Probably going to look around at the other cars and like, what about it? No. You can't look at these cars. This is the only car for you. You're going to love this car, but it's only going to work 5% of the time. Probably not going to buy that car. You walk in through an airport, you get onto a plane, the pilot comes out and says, hey, welcome aboard. We're glad you're here. Hope you enjoyed the flight. Need to tell you there's only a 10% chance that we're going to get you to your destination. I know I'm going to have a lot of anxiety and apprehension about getting on that flight. Chances are I'm not going to get on that flight at all. I'll take the damn bus. Let me take that same scenario and apply it to recovery. Apply it to recovery. Why would we tell somebody, hey, you can own, this is the only pathway that's going to work for you. You're going to love this pathway. It's going to be super successful for you. But this specific pathway only has a self-reported success rate of anywhere between 2 and 8%. And that's an epidemiological, that's a self-surveyed success rate that they've reported themselves. It's not a double-blind, placebo-based trial study. That's not a scientific, no. This is an actual survey study. 2 to 8%. But this pathway is going to work for you. Why would we do that in recovery? Matter of fact, to make things worse, the judicial system, the court system, the treatment centers, they're the ones saying, hey, this is the pathway we want to expose you to that only has a 2 to an 8% success rate. Don't look at all these other pathways over here, though, because this is the one with the 2 to 8% success rate. This is the one we want for you. That's completely asinine. My first question is, why would they ever do that? Second question is, why is that number so low? Why is there only a 2 to an 8% self-reported success rate? And I think part of the reason why is because those of us in the recovery community that have any type of sobriety time, clean and sober time under our belt, we have overcomplicated the shit out of things. We've taken a suggested program and turned it into a requirement program. In other words, we've taken all these suggestions and turned them into rules for that newcomer. So no wonder the newcomer who's first coming in, they're getting acclimated, they're getting clean and sober, they're doing good, maybe 2, 3, 4, 6 months in, and then next thing you know, they start going, shit, there's all these rules. Think about it from their perspective. They got the 12 steps they got to follow. They got the 12 traditions they got to practice, they got to keep. They got the 12 spiritual principles. They have to do this and have to do that. Can't say this, but they have to say this over here, but they got to read this over here. We've complicated the shit out of things. We've created all these non-existent rules that everyone else has to follow except for us. We want to hold everybody else accountable, but we don't want to be held accountable ourselves. A friend of mine, she relapsed early last year, and she felt humiliated, felt ashamed of herself, hated herself. And I remember when she came back, she said, okay, I need to start over. She came back in, and her sponsor demanded that she gets up, walks out, walk of shame in this really large room full of a whole bunch of people to pick up that 24-hour chip, all because that's what she's supposed to do. We work an honest program. That's what you're supposed to do. Show me in the big book where it says anything at all about picking up chips in the first 164. Doesn't exist. Here's one of these bullshit rules that we made up just so we could feel a little bit more significant, a little bit more powerful. We are the true authority of fake A meetings. Another rule the non-existent rule that absolutely baffles me. I get it conceptually, it makes sense conceptually, but it's still horse shit, is this idea that men can't sponsor women and women can't sponsor men. I'm going to be flat out honest with you. I sponsor several women. You know what? It's perfectly okay. It's okay. And I know there's those of you out there who might be saying, oh, you can't do that. They say men aren't supposed to sponsor women and et cetera, et cetera. That's the very thing I'm talking about. This unwritten rule, this rule that we've somehow created. Let me ask you this. Margaret Mann, she was the very first woman in Alcoholics Anonymous. If she was the first woman, who was her sponsor? If she was the first woman, who was her sponsor? Her sponsor was Bill Wilson. My point to all this is we like to create these rules for everybody else, especially the newcomer. but we don't want to hold ourselves to the same rules. We don't want to hold ourselves to the same standards. And that's horseshit. That's a terrible example that you're setting. But the problem is a lot of this happens within the very fake aid meetings that newcomer is coming into. How about we just go back to the simple basics? Let the newcomer talk to the newcomer. Have that conversation with the newcomer. Let the newcomer tell us what we can do to help them rather than us telling them, hey, this is the only way that's going to work for you. That, in my opinion, is why we only have anywhere between a 2 to an 8% success rate. Personally, I think that should be a lot higher, but we have to be willing to talk to the newcomer, and rather than creating all these bullshit rules, these non-existent rules, let them find out from them what they need from us, what we can give to them to help them on their own road to and through recovery. So with that being said, I'm out of time. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I could not be any more appreciative. If there's a topic you'd like to have discussed, feel free to drop it into a Facebook Messenger, the Recovery Classroom. We'll take a look at it, see what we can do. If you like the content of these morning monologues, feel free to like and share on your own social media pages and all your social media channels. We'll be talking again soon, guys. Remember, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.